I would like to invite our viewers and a guest speaker to the fifth chapter of Saturday Trends named Approach for Top MNCs. To all our first time viewers, we have started a series named Saturday Trends, where every Saturday we come up with a live session addressing our viewers and helping them to build a career path with the guidance of our experienced speakers. Well, I'm sure that most of us dream of getting into MNCs and do have questions regarding how to crack their interview and what it actually takes to get into a multinational company. In order to answer all your doubts, today we have with us one of our guest speaker, Shruti Kavishkar. So, hello, and are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, so let's begin. So, first things first, can you tell our audience what are MNCs and what are their benefits?
Okay. So to start with, MNC stands for Multinational Corporation, and a
Okay.
company that has various branches in other countries other than its home country is known as MNC.
Okay.
Also, say if you have a company in India, a small company in India, and a foreign company wants to take over your company, then that
Okay.
also becomes an MNC. Okay.
All right.
Another thing is, I would give some examples of various MNCs. Some of them are TCS, IBM, Wipro, Capgemini, and etc. Coming to the benefits, I think that MNCs are more process oriented compared
Okay.
to private sectors. Other
Okay.
than that, you have a lot more opportunities when it comes to MNC, say
Okay.
in the aspect of projects or even
Absolutely.
going abroad. Say now obviously one company has their various branches in other countries, so obviously you
Hmm.
will get a chance of going to foreign countries. So that's
Yes.
one thing, and one very important part is that you can change your departments in the company, so that
Okay.
helps you explore more and say, not everyone knows what they want to do from the beginning. So say if you
Exactly.
want to change your department, you can always do that. Obviously there are a few
Okay.
criteria to do that, but at least you have an option. So
Okay. So
that's
MNCs allow you to do that.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So also, is it a fact or a myth that MNCs purely need people who are all rounders? Can you elaborate about it?
Okay.
Like, there's this myth
um,
that we need all rounders if we want to join an MNC. So, is it
right.
a fact or a myth? Yeah.
Okay. See, it really depends on how you define a person to be an all-rounder. If, say, you're considering a person's technical skills, their soft skills, how they speak and how they present in the company, or their aptitude skills, their problem solving, if that's what you mean by being an all-rounder, then to be honest, any company would want to hire such candidate, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I don't really think a MNC would look for someone who knows more than this. Obviously, that's a plus point if candidates know more than this. But as far as freshers are concerned, the expectations are at a ground level. So I don't think MNCs expect a person to be an all-rounder.
Okay. All right. So, as we just discussed, that it is not necessary to be an all rounder, but to have appropriate and right knowledge in the field of our expertise. So, all the coders out there, here's a competition that can help boost your confidence. It is named Code eQuiz, which is an online quiz competition. You all can check their website for registration details. The website name is daretocompete.com. Also, winners will receive a cash prize, and all the participants will be awarded an e-certificate as well. And the registration deadline is 5th of July, 12 a.m. So, moving ahead, the next question: what are the advantages and perks of working in an MNC as compared to other companies?
Okay. See, as I mentioned in your first question, that MNC gives you better opportunities, and
Yes.
it follows a process oriented approach. Other than that, I think a MNC has a very mature process they have better documentation of everything that they do. You wouldn't really get that in a private sector company. So in aspect of better documentation, I think MNC is is better to work with. Other than that, everything is in a very structured manner, so that
Okay.
helps the freshers as well. And
Hmm.
being structured is always a good thing, right?
Yes.
Another point I would say is that, as far as I know, in MNCs, they have vertical as well as horizontal growth. So what this
Okay.
means is that vertical growth is basically that a company has various levels, or you can say various designations. So obviously a
Okay.
person will always have, will always have something to look forward to and something that they
Hmm.
can work on and achieve. So MNC
Okay.
always gives that, what do you call it, uh, a motivation or appreciation by giving their employees uh, promotions from time to time. So I think that's a
Exactly.
plus point for the employees. And horizontal approach is basically it includes the salary structure, which also
Okay.
is way better in our MNC.
Okay. Okay. So speaking of that, how can one prefer a certain MNC? Like, how can one judge an MNC?
Okay. See now, first thing that you could look for is the diversity. Now, diversity can be a little tricky word for some people. It basically means that, see, now when a company hires candidates, it is very obvious that the candidates won't have a similar personality or opinions. They come from
Exactly.
very different backgrounds, cultural background. They have very, very different values,
Yes.
and the main differentiation or distinction point would be their gender, their age, and etc. Points like that, right? So a
Yeah.
company can be called diverse when it is accepting and understanding of all these various diverse individuals. So diversity can be one of the things. Second is you need to look for the culture and the values of the company. These are
Okay.
the basic things that you can look for. Another thing which is very important is that if a company, you want to know if a company is product based or service based or both.
Service based.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so
Okay.
that really depends on what you are interested in and what do you want to work on. So say if you want to get into a product based company, you can get into maybe Google or Amazon. Or if you want to get into a service based company, there are a lot of service based company, for example TCS. Now a company which is both a product based and a service based is IBM. Okay, so
Okay.
now say that I want to initially work in a service based company and then I want to change into a product based company, so then you can opt for IBM. So that really depends on what interests you and what you want to work. So I think
Okay.
you need to do your homework and you get all the information on the company's website. So you can always check their website what kind of projects they're working on, and at the end, the revenue generation and everything, that also you can take into consideration. But I think for freshers, you don't really need to look into that.
Okay. So, since we've been talking about MNCs, there's just a recent news that I'd like to share. So, Volkswagen Group is about to introduce an AI technology to boost their production. They have set up a team of about 60 computer vision experts for further development of the technology and the evaluation of new utilization possibilities. The source of this news is Economic Times. So, if anyone is interested to know more, you all can check it out on their official website and app of Economic Times. Moving ahead for the interview, is it better to join a training and placement institute or to approach a job consultancy to get placed in MNCs if one is trying to apply externally for it?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you how both these institution or the consultancy work. So basically, what happens in our training and placement institute is that they teach you a skill. It can be any skill, say Java, MySQL, Python, or any of that, and they certify you or give you some sort of a stamp that this person is, is skilled in this particular subject. Now, so initially, what they do is they ask you for money. So it is basically like a coaching class. When you prepare for IIT, you go to certain coaching class, you give their tuition fees, but it is not certain that you will get into an IIT. So it is the
Exactly.
same. It's same for training and placement institutes. It is not certain that you will get a job. What happens
Okay.
in So yeah, I would say that job security is not really a good point in the institute. Coming to job consultancy, what they do is they forward your CV. So if you are eligible and if you are capable of the job role, they hire you. And once you get hired, the job consultancy asks you for your maybe first month or first 2 months salary. So they take money after you get the job.
Okay.
This is the comparison between the two, and it really depends upon the individual what they want to go for. In training and placement institute, I feel that, see, if you do not get a job at the end, uh,
Hmm.
I mean, you have learned a skill, but you have learned so many skills in college as well, right? So what your goal was to get a job, and you really haven't. So in my
Hmm.
opinion, I think job consultancy is a better option. And at the end, it all
Okay.
depends on the candidate, how well they work for it, how hard they work for it.
Yeah, and how much effort they've put into it
Absolutely.
exactly. So,
Correct.
can you tell our viewers what is the procedure of hiring and how can one get prepared for the same? Also, is it as tough as it seems to be a part of an MNC?
Okay. See, the process for hiring basically is you have an online test and then an interview. These are the two basic processes. Now in TCS, what we had was we had an online test. So the online test consisted of three sections. The first one was aptitude, second was verbal,
Okay.
and third was coding MCQs. So in
Hmm.
aptitude, what you have is your quantitative, qualitative, logical questions. Questions on time, distance, energy, profit loss, um, permutation, combination, etc. You will get the topic wise list if you Google.
Hmm.
Other than that,
Okay.
in verbal, you had basic grammar questions, complete the sentence, find the error, questions like that. And in the third part, the MCQ part, you will get questions like there's a code snippet. You have to tell what will be the output of the code, or questions on data structures, algorithms, concepts of C, C++. So basic questions like that. So this is about the online test. Once you clear the online test, you go to the next round, which is the interview. So
Okay.
again, the interview is divided into three different processes. First is the technical round, second is the HR round, and third is the managerial round. So again, in technical round, now for the most important thing is your CV. You have to,
Hmm.
create your CV in a very in such a manner that you know what you've written and you cannot fake it. If you fake or if you
Yes,
tell
absolutely.
something that you don't know, then the interviewer will get to know. So what I was asked in my TCS interview, mostly I got questions on my project. Know your project, know
Okay.
every little detail of that project, which is very important. And
Absolutely.
in PR, they gave me a code, I think, yeah, on recursion. So you get basic codes like recursion or odd and even, prime number, etc. One more thing I want to mention is that please have a practice of writing at least small codes or the main function of the code on paper, because you obviously don't have a compiler there and you wouldn't understand where you've gone wrong. So that's important. Other than that, yeah, technical round is about it. In HR, what they see is they see your personality, they see your strengths, etc. So you might get
Yeah.
questions like, why do you want to join this company, etc. Other than that, in managerial round, they check your management skills. They might give you some situations where they see how well you can manage, or how how quick of a decision maker you are. So that's about
Yeah.
the interview process. And this was about TCS. Actually, it really depends on the company what kind of, or how many processes they want to take. So for IBM, I'll give another example. For IBM, we had 5 rounds. So in the first round, we had one coding question and a few MCQs on codes. Other than that, then we had gaming questions, which tests our cognitive ability. Then third, we have had a
Okay.
psychometric test where they basically want to see the way you think, and the kind of opinions you have about certain things. Then after that, I had the English test. So that is again basic
Okay.
grammar, similar to TCS. And then finally the interview. So it really depends on the
All right.
company, what kind of processes they want to follow.
Yeah, so you just mentioned the importance of aptitude tests and the interview as well. So,
Yes,
since one needs to practice of the aptitude question, one needs more practice, no doubt. And our
absolutely.
official website, betrainophilic.com, mainly intends to help students in clearing their aptitude round. So, in order to know more about the pattern of these tests and also the type of questions asked, you can check out our website for the same regarding the aptitude part. And for the interview, we have another video, which was the fourth chapter of Saturday Trends named Interview Checklist. So, you all can refer that as well. And yeah, let's move to the next question. So, is it necessary to have a prior industry experience to get a job in an MNC?
Okay. See, as I had answered in your the all-rounder question, that a
Hmm.
fresher, the actually what a MNC or any other company, when they hire a fresher, their expectations are at ground level. So they'll
Okay.
see how technically sound you are, how good you are in your communication, and how good are your aptitude and your problem-solving skills. So obviously, a fresher would not have any prior experience. So it is not necessary to have any kind of experience to get into an MNC. Other
Okay.
than that, if you are someone who has worked for some years, obviously the MNC will look for someone who has worked in the domain that they want to hire for, right? Because obviously
Yes.
the person needs to have some basic knowledge about that particular domain. So if you are a fresher, then definitely you do not need any kind of experience because you don't
Yes.
have one.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one question which everyone has in their mind. Do we need to have a prior experience or is it fine? Okay, so
Yeah.
what is the qualification required to get placed in an MNC and how can one apply for the same?
Okay.
Yeah.
See, the qualification that one requires is you need to have 60 percentage or above in your 10th standard, 12th standard, and your graduation. So this is the basic qualification. Applying for companies, you have your campus placements. If not that, second one, you have various websites. For example, Naukri.com, Monster.com, and
Okay.
actually, I think the most trusted website is the company's own website. Right? They keep
Exactly.
yeah, they keep
Updated.
updating their if they have any new positions. So you
Hmm.
always need to keep a check on their websites.
Yes, yes. Okay. So also, how can one refrain oneself from sounding overqualified during the interview? Like suppose the interview asks me and I keep saying that I can code, I can talk, I have good communication skills, leadership. It sounds too much and it
Correct.
feels like one is boasting. So how can one refrain from it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, see, whenever you apply to a company, right, they give you a job description. So make sure that you've gone through the job description very nicely, and you know what the company expects. Whenever an interviewer asks you something, make sure that you answer only what he's asking for and what is expected. You don't need to
Okay.
answer anything other than that. So, say
Exactly.
if the interviewer gets what he wants, then that's it. You are hired.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes it happens in order to impress the interviewer, we just keep on talking and then later we come to know.
Correct.
disqualified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
another thing is that whatever technical knowledge you have, you need to
Yeah,
keep it on your desk. That is very important. And
yeah,
say, like, be real. Say what you really
exactly.
feel. Yeah.
Yes. Be your authentic self. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
So, how much growth can we get in an MNC as compared to other private sectors?
Okay. See, growth is basically acquiring new skills and using your talent to grow in a company, right? So that
Exactly.
will happen when you have more opportunities. If you have more opportunities, you will get a chance to showcase your values. So as I mentioned earlier, that MNCs give you more opportunities. So obviously, the growth is better. And again, I had mentioned in the growth aspect, that is the vertical growth and the horizontal growth. Now the vertical growth, there are so many designations that one is bound to progress in their career. They have always something to look forward to and something that they can work on. And
Hmm.
at the end, I feel it is always on the candidate or the employee, that be it a MNC or a private sector, one has to work hard and know where he wants to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it entirely depends upon the candidate. Okay.
Correct.
So, speaking of growth in multinational companies, Tesla on Wednesday has become the highest value automaker as the electric car makers market. So, after several years of losses, Tesla has delivered three straight profitable quarters since the third quarter of 2019 and surprised investors with solid first quarter deliveries despite the virus outbreak. So, that's a huge thing. And the source of this news is International Business Standard. So, that's it for today. And let us all catch up next Saturday for the sixth chapter of Saturday Trends with another interesting topic and an amazing speaker. Also, do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay safe, stay productive, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you, everyone, for joining with us.